Marhaba. Hello. Quickly will present myself to catch up with the 4 minutes I lost. So my name is Sherif Adel MEDHAT. I come from Egypt and I'm working for Microsoft for over a year. And today I'm going to talk about a very interesting and unusual topic. So hopefully it will be something valuable to all of the attendees. My role is a solution professional, and I'm working over a product called Microsoft Visio. Probably most of you have heard about it, have used it before, have used previous versions, but today I'm intending to show you more than expected. Perfect. So, when we talk about project management, there is always the technology included. So, always technology. Technology have to cope with what we're doing, but the project management is one of the jobs or one of the tasks that's all about information, whether getting information or communicating back information. And the amount of information makes it very hard to communicate, especially when you're dealing with different resources, with different mindsets. So it's very hard to just make this information easier. So what I will be tackling today on how we can use the technology to make information communication process much easier. So briefly, I will be covering what is Visio and why I'm presenting it today. Why I'm saying Visio for everyone, so what are the use cases for each one and each member of the team. We'll see a live demo. That's why I brought the laptop, because usually I hate presentations and I have to play with my hands. So eventually, I will open a demo and I will build something with you. And then I will discuss the roadmap, which are the upcoming features that may interest you, and then Q&A if we had time. Before I begin, I want to ask a very simple question. Who knows Microsoft Visio? Very well. So actually what I've just made, or what I've just asked, is Microsoft Visio. I depended on the visuals to know the number of the attendees who knows Microsoft Visio. Instead of passing by each one of you and taking around from 15 to 30 minutes and lose my time presenting, I just depended on my eye to see the representation of your hands. So from this point, there was a recent research from MIT that stated that the human brain can process images in less than 13 milliseconds. So when it comes to communication, visuals are easier to consume. So this is a fact, and this is what I will prove today. So briefly, what is Visio and why are you going for this approach about visualization? Visio is a diagramming solution. It's a diagramming platform and has the vision of working visually, just to send you the message of visualization. I will just describe very quickly the main pillars of Visio as a product, and then I will discuss how it can be valuable for your business itself, how it can be valuable for project management. Basically, Visio is based on 3 pillars: create, collaborate, communicate. So how can we use this, or how will this help me understand the product more? The creation part. It makes it easy for anyone to visualize anything. So Visio is shipped with 76 out-of-the-box templates that you just use directly to visualize anything that you need. Talking about resources, timelines, workflows, engineering, process diagrams, even floor plans, whatever. It is shipped with 4,000 shapes in its content ecosystem. So you have a shape for every role and every ID. The second best thing is you can have it data linked, which means that you can connect to your diagram to a data source, which can be another project management solution, like Microsoft Project or other, or even just connected to an Excel sheet, a very basic Excel sheet that you're using. And then you can have monitoring capabilities. And from this point, you will make use of the visualization as a way to communicate all of your timelines and your project progress, your risk, the project health, the remaining spend, and everything else. Then moving on, during the creation process, I really want to capture the contributions from different stakeholders. And it would be great if we could use the same language that we have, which is visuals. So we can even cross the language barrier. So just imagine that two team members or the project manager and one of the resources are working together at the same diagram, at the same file. So you will have a co-authoring experience so they can just avoid wasting time to change and keep progress. Eventually, you want to communicate this diagram, and this is the whole idea. So typically, an end user doesn't create a diagram for himself, especially the project manager. But he tends to share it with his resources, with the team members, with the organization, with partners, with customers, with the client. So we made the communication part and the sharing experience really easy. Of course, through mails, through Link or Skype for Business or any way of communication, or even through the browser. So you can have a monitoring dashboard related for your project on the browser that's accessible to everyone, and you can just build in 30 minutes. No technical knowledge, no hassle of how finding your way through the tool, and this is what I will be proving today. Just to give you a glimpse of the amount of users using Visio, so we have 12 million users worldwide. It's being used in 94% of the Fortune 100 companies. So actually, once you get to know it, you really find that it's something that can help you in your daily job. And why I was saying Visio for everyone, because we've got scenarios for anything. We've got scenarios for the IT people, for the HR, operations and facility, for the process modeling, even for personal use. I used it for personal use for designing my home, so I just draw a floor plans. I started to put the bed and the furniture across the place. So it's a diagramming solution. It can be used in whatsoever. I would like to show you this quick video. But the thing is about Visio, and this is what I will try to show you as much as I can, is how you visualize anything, how you can visualize different metrics that you have, how you can visualize the data that you're relying on. It can be shared across different users, as we mentioned, and you can have data graphics that represents your data that you're linked to. So for example, you can present your team members, you can see their availability, their workload, their evaluation plan, whatsoever. All based on single drag and drop experience, so there is no much technical experience involved, and you can just share it to be consumed with everyone. Eventually, what we're trying to build and what I will switch to after this video is a live demo that I will create with you on how I can visualize my resources or my team members. After I visualize them, I wanted to see some metrics, some KPIs. I wanted to see their training percentage, their workload, any other information. So I will let you see how we can build something like this by ourselves instead of depending on a project management tool that has or doesn't have this feature. So how I can use something on my own. So what I'm doing now is actually I'm opening Visio. This is the application homepage. I have different categories, as I mentioned, the 76 categories, but actually I'm not interested in showing them to you all. I want to create something very special. I want to create an organizational chart wizard. And by organizational chart, I want to draw a team structure. So going through the wizard, I have the option either creating the information by myself for the employees, or actually use some data source that I have to automate the creation of my resources and team members. So just to show you what I'm tending to use, this is an Excel sheet that I will use as my data source. It's called employees, for example. I have just the name of the employees, which can be my resources. I have their title in the project, whether developer, business analyst, testing, whatever. And I have the manager column, which represents to whom they report. Having this said, we'll close the Excel sheet, and I will use it in Visio as my data source. So yes, Visio, I have my information stored in somewhere, and this somewhere can be any other database, an Excel sheet, or even Active Directory. I will just browse for the Excel sheet. In this time, Visio is reading the Excel sheet and will ask me two important questions so he can know how he can create the right structure of my team members. It asks me, what is the column in your Excel sheet that represents the employees' names, which is name in my case, and what is the column that represents the reports to, which is manager in my case. Clicking next, it asked me, do you want to have some pictures for your resources? So do you want to do something يعني, much more easier to see or to visualize? So actually, yes. I browsed for a folder that contains the pictures of my employees. But how will Visio do the mapping? So how it will understand that Sherif shape in the organization chart belongs to this picture? So actually, Visio asked me, match pictures based on what? So I renamed the pictures according to the employee names. Clicking through next. I specify from where I want my organizational structure to start. So once in a while, I was using Microsoft Active Directory, and I chose Satya Nadella, which is the CEO of Microsoft. So I visualized the whole hierarchy of Microsoft. In this case, I want the top executive and to show all of the subordinates. Clicking on Finish to automate the hierarchy and the structure of my team members. This was a very boring and simple information stored in an Excel sheet. I transformed it into something else, something meaningful. While I did this, I really didn't like the layout, so I would like it to be more horizontal. And this was 10% of the task. What I want to do next is just to have some metrics. I really want to see different colors based on different roles, for example. I want to see icons based on their evaluation or based on their progress. I want to see a data bar that represents something. I want this chart or this diagram to be live. I want it to be connected to a data source. And whenever this data source changes, this chart will automatically refresh to be one single version of truth that's communicated to whole team members or project members. So this will be my second step. So what I will do, and just notice how easy and simple through the wizard to do these things. So I went through the data tab, and actually, I want to do a custom import. So what will be my data source? It will be another Excel sheet, and just notice the structure of this Excel sheet. Nothing special, it just contains the name of the employee, and whatever metrics I want to monitor. So for example, I've added here target, sales, training percentage, their department. I can add their role, their title, their progress, their workload. I can add whatever information I want to monitor. Going back to Visio. So after Visio asked me, do you want to import data? It asked me, what is the source that you want to connect to? Just a second. I will select I want to connect to an Excel sheet. I have various options for connectivity. I will browse for this Excel sheet. I just clicked on next. I didn't do anything special. And to be honest, nothing much happened. All what happened is this area that appeared that contains the data that I imported from my Excel sheet. Okay, this is getting boring. I really want to see something valuable. So what is the next step? The next step is that I will link each row of these data to its equivalent shape. Like, for example, the row that's called Sherif, I want it to be linked to the shape that's called Sherif. So instead of dragging and dropping each shape to do the linking, I would like to do automatic linking. So please, Visio, I want to automatically link all the shapes on this page to the data source. And how I can link them together is that both of them have the same name. So both of my information, the shapes, and my data has the same name. Clicking on Finish. There are some progress bar and some things that I really don't understand, so I will just remove them. And I'm back to my chart. Nothing happened. This is the last and most important step, is that I want some data graphics. Well, actually, what I want to do is I want to represent the departments of the employees by color. So Visio detected the different departments and gave each one of them a color. So how will this help? How will this be reflected back to my chart? It will be reflecting that each employee will have a distinctive color based on his department, which can be any other metric. It doesn't have to be a department. You make the choice. But actually, I want more. I'm a little bit greedy. So I want to represent their sales, for example, by a data bar. Have various options. So progress bar would be nice. I want to represent their training percentage. I want to represent it by an icon set. So, for example, these set of icons, if their training percentage is greater than or equal to 75%, I want them to have this icon, 50%, and I will start defining my own values. 25, and finally, 0. And I really don't want to use this one. Apply. Actually, everything is just syncing below. I want to increase the spacing. What I have now is a visualized team structure that's showing different metrics based on the data that's binded to. Just remember, you have complete flexibility of defining what you need. So whenever my Excel sheet or my data source changes, I can just go and define an automatic refresh rate. So Visio, refresh every 60 minutes or every 1 minute. I can bring this diagram back to the browser, and I can make it on a dashboard, on a site that can even accessible by any mobile device. So this is how easy it is to consume such application to your needs. This is the building blocks of how you create diagram, how you link it to data, how you define data graphics that are valuable and represents valuable information. So moving on, I have something else more tailored to the project management. This is actually a dashboard that was created by Visio. And what is unique than this than any other project management tool? So Visio, the first place, it's not a project management tool. And Microsoft already has Microsoft Project. But the way to do this is that you can create by yourself your own personalized dashboard, your own personalized view that is not residing in any project application or project management application. So for instance, this is a Visio diagram that was published on a SharePoint site. And just remember, this is very flexible to change and edit. So I'm having this performance dashboard. I select the different criteria that I want to filter with, which is whether that's schedule or budget, quality, client satisfaction. And what happens is that the map gets updated according to this metric. So going back to the schedule, I see that the performance dashboard by schedule is having actually a problem or a red area in Washington State. Actually, I made this view. I defined that this block should turn red when a specific value changes. I made it without coding or without any technical expertise. So what I would like to do next is actually I want to know what is the problem. I want to drill down and I will click on Washington State. I want to have an inner view. I want to see exactly what's going wrong. So now I'm seeing an overall performance for the projects on different departments inside Washington State exactly. So I'm seeing, for example, that I will try to zoom a bit. I'm seeing, for example, that the finance, the legal, IT, operations, everything is going fine, but the IT team actually having high remaining spend and high remaining work. So things are not very good for the IT department. So I'm a little bit worried that maybe things need more monitoring. Just a sec. So what I would like to do is actually I want to go inside the IT department. I want to see all of the different projects inside the IT department to know what's exactly going wrong. So after drilling down, I am seeing a detailed view for all of the different projects. I'm seeing project health, the risk rating, the workflow stage, total cost, total benefits, the ROI, percent of completion. I am seeing everything that I want to see. It's flexible according to my preference. As I mentioned, this data could be acquired from Microsoft Project or any other project management tool, or even better, if you just have an Excel sheet. So if your life is only depending on Excel sheet and you're not this advanced with tools and project management tools, this could be a right solution in which you customize your own tool, customize your own view, or either utilize what you already have. So this was briefly how you can build a diagram and how you can build something more advanced with it. You've seen the building blocks, so it's not more complicated than this. This demo was created without any complexity, so it just goes on and on using the same scenarios. Just closed the presentation by mistake. Finally, just to show you what are having as upcoming features, what are the new features for Visio, will it be useful or a right investment to use such tool in our activities? So this is a glimpse of what's coming next. This is a plan from 6 to 24 months of upcoming releases to the product. Just going very briefly to the things that matter. You will have the natural user interface, which you can just draw the shapes using your pen or using your hand, so it will be very touch-friendly. You can start using, for example, the process visualization from data. So you can just feed Visio an Excel sheet, and in return, it draws directly a process diagram without even editing anything in between. We're coming for a Visio online version in which you can create and edit diagrams in the browser without the need to have a tool installed. And eventually, there is a native app for iPad and iPhone in which you can consume the diagrams with much more fidelity and much more control. So all of these are the coming features. They're still under development, but at least it's announced that this is what we will have in the next 24 months. What are the takeaways and what eventually the message that you should go out with is, with Visio, anyone can visualize anything. So I'm talking very generic, whether in project management or any other field, you will have what fits you. Simple to use with powerful visualization. So actually, you don't have any background knowledge, and you have a lot of options. You've just seen a glimpse of what's available. You've seen already the next investments from 6 to 24 months. This is my email for any questions or support that will be needed. And the last and most important is that we have an online guided test drive, which is a demo in the browser that you can just use if you want to show it to your team members that they don't know anything about Visio, like probably before you enter. You could just show them this. You can see a demo in the browser of the powerful feature and just try to spread the word eventually. So I'm right on time. So if anyone has any questions, I would be more happy to take it on stage. Tamam? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks all. Thank you. See you. Oh, thank you.